All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol SENS, Senseonics Holdings Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And as we jump into this chart, I do want every single investor to be aware of the fact that I have a new ticker symbol you won't want to miss. You definitely want to keep it on your radar and your watch list. Now, it's in the EV sector, and it focuses on a niche section or sector of within the EV sector. I was going to say of the EV sector within the EV sector, but it focuses on a niche within the EV sector. And within this niche, this company has a large market share of it. So there's not much competitors, and they focus on a specific sector within the EV sector, which I find is very interesting. And it's definitely one to add to your watch list. So stay tuned till the end. We're going to look at the chart. We're going to look at all the information. Now, SENS, Senseonics Holdings Inc. has been working its way up. I want every single investor to be aware of it. And our current resistance level is sitting at the point where the stock is at, but I'm going to move it in just a moment so we can look at it a little bit broader based off the history of the chart. Now, things with Sensonic had gone a little bit quiet, and we saw it going downwards and kind of just hanging out sideways. Now, the overall picture is the fact that we saw it holding itself up pretty well and going in this direction. Now it's building some momentum. The overall market today was upwards, so that's something that we want to keep in mind. The true stocks that build momentum and are going to keep that momentum, we're going to know going into the rest of the week. Once there's kind of a red day or a slight pullback in the markets, we are going to know the stocks that actually are going to hold themselves up by either going a little bit higher or consolidating within this new area instead of pulling right back down to where it once was. So I want every single investor to be aware of this overall in the market. So the current resistance level based off the chart is 283. It's exactly where the stock is holding itself up and so forth. Now I want to go ahead and move this to the next resistance level based off the history of the chart, and that's 286. So I want every single investor to be aware of the fact that 286 is the true next resistance level, and if it could be turned into a support, the bulls can continue this momentum upwards to newer highs and new resistance levels, pulling further away from the 50-day moving average. Well, what is the 50-day moving average? The 50-day moving average is 249, and it lets us know on what side of the chart we're in. If we're above it, we're in bullish territory, and if we're below it, we're in bearish territory. I want every single investor to be aware of this, and as long as we stay above it, we are in bullish territory, and the bulls want to continue the momentum, pulling away from it, and they need to break through resistance levels, which is 286. Now, the next one above that is not too far from it, and it would be up here at this point at 289. So basically, right around the point of 290, give or take 289. If that gets broken through, we could be pulling much further upwards and then getting closer to this high up here before this started to go downwards at 323. But before getting to any of those numbers, 286 is the first point, 283, and we want to see how it reacts as it gets closer to 290, if there's a rejection, or if it could hold itself up above it. Now, our support level, there isn't a true support, but this is one of the points where this slightly leveled off sideways, and the bears were probably trying to reappear, and the bulls continue to pull up, and this support level is 267. If it gets broken through, it's such a broad stretch from 267 to 249 that I would even use down here at this point 260 as a point of reference or a midway point, a little bit closer to the 50-day moving average, to dissect the chart and see how it does between this support and 260 and how it does from 260 to the 50-day moving average, even though all of this is bullish territory. But the first point to look for and pay close attention to if it gets broken through is 267. There's a broad stretch between 267 and the 50-day moving average to see how the stock is doing, but you want to watch it carefully because the closer downwards, the closer the bears are to getting closer to their goal to cross the 50-day moving average and end up below it in bearish territory. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Stay tuned till the end because I have a ticker symbol you won't want to miss, and you definitely want to add it to your watch list. So for everyone that has stayed to this point, the ticker symbol I'm about to share with you guys is definitely one you want to do more research on and you want to watch carefully. Now, it's in the EV sector and it focuses on a specific niche, and I've been watching it for a few days, and an article came out on Friday that gave me even more of a confirmation why this one's going to have potential in the long term. I'm not too quite sure how we need to play it out in the short term because it is kind of hyperinflated in a little bit, and it was going downwards and it just bounced back up, and I definitely want to recommend to every single investor, watch it carefully. So the ticker symbol is ACTC, ArcLight Clean Transition Corp. So here we are with how it reacted when the merger was announced. It went from $12 all the way up to $31. It started to pull back, and this pullback was looking healthy. Now it bounced right back up, and this could be the overall market reaction because the whole market had a slight jump, and it jumped $4, almost $3 and some change, $4 from the lows here. So right now it's sitting at 26.29, and I definitely recommend watching it if it breaks through 2050 and also 2015, right? 22.15, excuse me. Those are the 2 points of support levels to watch carefully moving forward, and we want to see if this continues to pull downwards after this slight jump, or does it consolidate up here, and is it creating the anticipation leading towards the merger? Now, after the merger is something to watch as well. I've seen a lot of these mergers happen so far, and they actually start to have pullbacks as well afterwards. But in the long term, this is definitely a stock to keep in mind and watch carefully because they have a large market share who ACTC is going to merge with. Let's see this article here. So this is the article that came out on Friday. Yesterday I was going to do videos, and I actually was going to do videos on Friday. I've had a few hiccups, and I apologize for that to every single viewer and investor, but I'm glad that I'm still able to proceed with this information, and it's still one to definitely watch and keep in mind. So when I saw this article from Investor's Place, the heading was why investors should pass on ArcLight for now. The key words here to me that stand out is should pass for now, and that's fine. You want to add it to your watch list though, and you want to keep an eye on it and see how it's reacting because this sector has potential. And this is who they're merging with, Proterra. ArcLight has agreed to merge with Proterra. Well, now that they have agreed to do that, who you should do more research on is Proterra. Now, from what I've seen, they've been around for over 10 years, and they have a large market share in the niche that they do. And what do? They are an electric bus maker. Now, if you guys have seen Arrival and how things are happening in Europe, I could see Proterra being the one in the US market. That's the one in Europe market, Arrival. I could see Proterra being the one in the US market. I'm not sure if Arrival will arrive into the US market. For as long as it doesn't, Proterra has an upward, hand on this one. So over the long term, it basically says Proterra should do very well. That's a good sign. Now it talks about, the pandemic and so forth, why it's not recommended to buy ACTC anytime soon. Now, ArcLight has agreed to merge with Proterra. So when they say this anytime soon, but they say over the long term, it should do very well, and then I see should pass for now, it makes sense that this is the time to watch it. You really want to keep it on your radar and see how it moves. And now we have time to do due diligence as investors and research to know more about Proterra. So if anybody knows more than me or anything else or wants to share any articles or even this article, if you find it, you can post a link down below in the comments so that other investors are aware. But I would definitely start with this one because just the beginning kind of throws you, the good and the bad. And then as you continue to read, it talks about the good and the bad, and all of a sudden the good outweighs the bad because it tells you all the great things of Proterra and who they are and how they're working and what they plan on doing moving forward. Now, why do I see potential in this stock moving forward? And I'm not here to tell you guys to buy, sell, or hold any position in it, but I am here to enlighten you guys on adding this to your radar and keeping a close eye on it. Well, right now we are in the pre-merger, hype and stuff, and after the merger things might cool down again, and we need to see how far down it cools down, and also what's the anticipation leading into the merger. Now, why is this a great one? Well, the fact is that electric bus makers have a lot of potential just based off of the school system. Think about that nationwide. And then public transportation system. Think about that nationwide. There's enough to go around there for them to go ahead and make these buses and receive a lot of purchases and orders over time. So I look forward to how things continue to move, and especially with legislation being passed and going greener and EV becoming more of a norm rather than a luxury or taboo, it's going to change everything about the whole sector. And the fact that this focuses on a niche within the EV sector, which is electric bus makers, and this is one of them, and they have a large market share in that niche, I could see a lot of potential for this one. So definitely want to add to your watch list. ACTC, it's going to merge with Proterra. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, let's make some money.